Give me a minute. Let's talk about the muddy season in Ukraine. Now, Gaza here makes the point that the muddy season is going to be here soon. And some other people have brought this up, so I thought it was worth talking about a little bit. And you guys are right? Gaza's right. Normally in Ukraine, coming up about late September, mid-October at the latest, the fall rains start. And Ukraine's infrastructure is not the infrastructure of most Western countries. Unless you're on a highway, you're generally on a dirt road, right? Unless you're in a city or on a highway, the roads are dirt roads. It's very fertile soil here, so it doesn't tend to be rocky. It tends to be soft, loamy soil. And when the muds come, boy, getting around on those side roads, or as the Army's trying to do right now, through the fields, becomes impossible. They become impassable. Now, so it's a real concern. And General Mark Milley just recently said on this very subject, the Ukrainians have some time left before the rains come. Maybe 6 weeks. Now, he said that 2 weeks ago. So that means that we're down to maybe 4 weeks before the rains come in earnest. Here's the thing. Let's look at a couple of details here, because while that is true for Ukraine in general, we want to remember we're talking about the Zaporizhia and Kherson Oblasts and Crimea, because that's the main axis of attack, right? The goal is to get to the Azov Sea in Zaporizhia and cut off Crimea from all of its resources, make life there untenable for the Russians. What features of the local climate will assist with that? If we're worried about the mud getting in the way, what do we know about Ukraine, the fall muds, and the weather in Zaporizhia and Kherson? The first thing here is, let's look at Kyiv, right? In Kyiv, annual precipitation amounts to about 25 inches a year or 640 millimeters. So that's rain, snow, sleet, etc. How does that compare to southern Ukraine? Because remember, Crimea is a particularly arid place, particularly dry. Crimea is not a place where the muds are going to be a problem the way that they would be in other parts of the country where you're getting 25 inches of rain a year. On the way to Crimea, we go through Kherson. Kherson has the only desert in Ukraine. You see it there, the Olesky Sands National Nature Park. And this is right across the river from the city of the same name, Kherson. And so this is on the road to Crimea, the driest part of the country. Kyiv gets 25 inches of rain a year. How about Zaporizhia? Zaporizhia gets 6 inches less on average total rainfall a year than the rest of the country, right, at 505 millimeters. On average, Zaporizhia gets less than 3 inches of rain between September and October. How about Kherson? The next, we're down to 18 inches a year of rain a year, 464 millimeters. And like Zaporizhia, less than 3 inches of rain between September and October. Now look, nobody knows the weather. Nobody can count on the weather. We live on a planet that's on a climactic knife edge, and we're screwing the weather up, God knows. So nobody knows what the weather is going to be, but I'm going to ask everybody to do me a favor, right? It's a stupid thing. It's a totally stupid thing, but I'm going to put this idea in your head. Every time you listen to one of these videos, every time you listen to a video about Ukraine, every time you hear Ukraine on the news, every time you see a Ukrainian flag, every time somebody brings up Ukraine, I want you to think of that Ukrainian flag. And I want you to visualize a clear, blue, cloudless sky, a sky of deepest summer, an azure blue, as clear as an unmuddied lake. The sun shining brightly. And below it, a golden field of wheat drying in the autumn sun. Not a drop of rain in the air, not a cloud in the sky. Let's manifest for the Ukrainian armed forces a long, hot, dry summer. Thank you, my friends.